Coming up this afternoon on LWT, it's highlights of qualifying for the San Marino Grand Prix. But first, Trev Wilson introduces live FA Cup football.
Never seen you play like this. This is like you're like at the bottom of the league club.
Littlewoods, supporters of the FA Cup.
Good afternoon. A place at Wembley is at stake for our two sides today. It's the Premiership versus the First Division. Arsenal playing Wolves here in a huge match. Trevor's with me today and we're going to get all his views of the game. But first and foremost, let's get over to pitchside and join our match commentator for this one. It's Trevor Moore.
Thanks a lot, Trevor. Welcome to Villa Park, everybody, for this first FA Cup semi-final between Wolves and Arsenal. The other semi-final at Old Trafford takes place either between Newcastle and Sheffield United, but So it's the first of two First Division Premier League games, semi-finals to decide who will be at Wembley. And here we've got Wolves against Arsenal. Wolves through this stage beating Leeds, but two of their match winners are not in the side, as I'll explain in a moment. As we look at Wolves, 9-1 outsiders to win today. They're going with three up top with Claridge, Bull and Threenham, but there's no place for Don Godman, the match winner at Helen Road, and Mike Stowe is preferred to the other match winner, Hans Sagers, who saved a penalty in that game. Plenty of experience though, and a bit of an experience up top with Nicholas Anelka and Christopher Ray up front. Dennis Bergkamp is on amongst the changes and subs. Noe and Wright through injury, but the others pick themselves. Terrific atmosphere. David Seaman also returns as well for Arsenal. Great semi-final atmosphere building here at Villa Park, and be sure to join us in a minute or two's time for the start. Welcome back to Villa Park as we're just about to rejoin us right when we kicked off, and it's Wolves getting us underway, attacking the goal to my right hand side, the north stand, where all those executive boxes are in between the two tiers there. Arsenal the north out end here at Villa Park. Just one more piece of housekeeping before we get on with the game. Get on with the commentary. The referee today, Stephen Lodge from Barnsley, last year's Cup final referee. Following with a good challenge there and a good start this from Steve Froggatt with a good crunching challenge there on Ray Powell, and Froggatt and Powell at each other's throats again in the early stages, and again Froggatt winning that little battle. Good start from him. Former Villa man and another former Villa man, Tony Daly. Both Froggatt and Daly will work on both flanks for Mark McGee. He's playing a back three, but he's going to go free up top as well, with Steve Bold the main striker, but it's another of the trio up front, Steve Claridge, who's just been caught offside there by the linesman on the near side. Arsenal 3-1 on favourites with the bookmakers at the start, and to win the FA Cup outright, Arsenal 3-1 on favourites, Newcastle 4-1, Sheffield United 10-1, and Wolves, the outsiders of the four, at 12-1. Long ball forward up towards Claridge, and Tony Adams gets it back nicely for David Seaman. I'll give David Seaman a bit of confidence right at the start there. Nigel Winterburn, and of course both sides know that they've got an opportunity here. Mike Stowe, what an occasion for him in that Wolves goal. Never played a major showpiece like this. Wolves haven't won a major trophy since Andy Gray scored the winning goal for John Barnwell's Dem team against Nottingham Forest in the League Cup final of 1980 against Brian Clough's Nottingham Forest. And these two sides, as the balls come forward, that's an easy one for Seaman. These two sides have met in an FA Cup semi-final before, 1979. here at Villa Park when Arsenal went out 2-0 winners. A couple of goals from Mount Sunderland, and they went on to win the trophy against Manchester United in that dramatic 5-minute final. Happiness for Wolves. Wolves, of course, chasing promotion to the Premiership, where they've not been since the top flight, where they've not been since 1984. Relegated under Graham Hawkins, their then manager. There's Chris Ray, the Liberian, up towards Anelka, who's made a good impression, but it's an inexperienced front line for Arsenal today. Venus gets that cross out. And we've got good service from Power and Alvarez on both flanks, so they should be well off them two today, you think. The Wolves are a dogged, determined side under Mark McGee, the school of the Alex Ferguson mould. Played under Ferguson in his days at Aberdeen. They won the European Cup Winners' Cup in '83 together, so McGee as a player knew what it took to win at the highest level, and he's trying to do the same with Wolverhampton Wanderers. Simpson, Claridge, Daly trying to be found on the far side, but he couldn't be found. Daly and Proggett will know every blade of grass there. Former Aston Villa players, so know what Villa Park's about, and I actually have to say the pitch, considering it was played on yesterday, looks in remarkably good. Nick, as Bull gets the shot in, and a good save from David Seaman. Few patches in the goal mouths here or there, considering that Villa played on it against West Ham yesterday. But overall, the groundsman has done a fabulous job to get the pitch in as good a condition as he could have done for this semi-final Sunday. And that looked a foul there by Froggatt, and the referee has given it. Will Froggatt get the first booking of the game, I wonder? No, says Mr. Lodge. Just a yellow card. Just a free kick, I must say. Now the ball had gone. Grimani was certainly poleaxed. He should have got a yellow card, I feel, for that, but maybe because it's 16 minutes in, maybe the referee erred on the side of caution as the free kick comes in. Headed out towards Winterburn now. Only over a quarter of an hour played in this first FA Cup semi-final. The tee, and again Romani. Remember, Sheffield United and Newcastle face off at 4 o'clock at Old Trafford in the other semi-final. No foul there. Play on, says the referee. Here's Claridge. And just a quick reminder, if it's level after 90 minutes today, we will have extra time. If it's level after that, we will go to a replay here at Villa Park, and then it will be decided on the night then, if it does go that far. But obviously still a long way to go yet, so let's not get carried away with the possibility of an extra half an hour. Let's hope we have a good game and it's over after 90 minutes. Here's Manu Petit. Vieira trying to find his fellow countryman Anelka, but he couldn't find him there because Keith Curl had stopped him. Here's Petit. Froggatt in very well. He's had a good start to this game, Stevie Froggatt. Back at Villa Park, lucky to do well for his current side here in an FA Cup semi-final. Get Wolves to Wembley for the first time, in fact, in any major final since 1988, when they won the then Sherpa Fan Trophy final against Burnley. In fact, they had a crowd over 90,000 that day in '88, and the FA Cup final that was played 2 weeks earlier between Wimbledon and Liverpool got, I think, about 85,000. So that Sherpa Fan Trophy got more supporters than it did for the FA Cup final that year. 10 years ago. That amazing, really, when you think about it. Burnley looking to get back into the first division, struggling at the moment under Chris Waddle, but Wolves are definitely in the shake-up at the top of the first, that's for sure. Here's Petit now trying to close in, but Robbie Slater got back, and it will be a corner for Arsenal, their first of the game. Terrific challenge, and a corner kick. 24 minutes gone. Overmars to take. Short to Winterburn. There were 5 waiting in the middle, and they might be a little bit miffed with Overmars that they didn't put it in. He prodded it in now to Rose Petit, who heads it wide. A big chance there for Arsenal, and they didn't, and they'll be disappointed in a way, Arsenal, because they really didn't work Mike Stowe enough there in that Wolverhampton goal. Nevertheless, here's Robbie Slater. Tony Daly. Let's see what trickery he can come up with on that right hand side. Freeman now trying to create a little bit of space. It's been a nervous start more by Arsenal than it would have been against Wolves. They've nothing to lose really, and maybe they'll feel they've a lot to gain. No foul there, and we play on it. It's Anelka to Ray to Anelka, and the ball just didn't reach the far side there, which is a shame really, because the ball was intercepted. There's a cracking atmosphere around Villa Park, and Villa Park, one of those special semi-final venues. It wasn't used last year. It was Old Trafford and Highbury last year. Villa Park is certainly one of those venues that you'd love to have, and it's a great old ground, Aston Villa, a real ground with great tradition, and we've got a good semi-final on here. Arsene Wenger's men being very much held by Mark McGee's Nationwide First Division side, and they're doing a Nationwide proud, and I'm sure Sheffield United will do the same, and Steve Thompson later this afternoon when they take on Kenny Dalglish's Newcastle at Old Trafford. But that's a goal kick now. We've got about just over half an hour played, quarter of an hour to go the first half here at Aston Villa. 0-0 is the score. You just joined us live here on ITV Sport. Vieira, good ball out to Parra. Now what about the cross? It's a good one. Anelka going in there and knocks out once more. Frog it away. Arsenal needed 2 goals to beat West Ham, and they beat them on penalties at Upton Park in the last round. And then stumbled through a difficult 3-play against Crystal Palace at Sellers, winning by 2-1. So they've not had it easy this season, Arsenal, in terms of trying to get through to this final. Obviously reached the semi-finals of the Coca-Cola as the ball is folded in, and Daly can get it away. And they've also challenging Manchester United had a very bad defeat the other week against Sheffield Wednesday when Alex Manninger was in goal that day. David Seaman didn't play for an injury, and in the end Arsenal were well beaten in the end despite Dennis Bergkamp's best efforts. But now it's a case of now if they can get through to this final, it will give them a lot of confidence going for this double, trying to achieve what Bertie Mees team did back in 1971. And they actually won the league at White Hart Lane, and then beat Liverpool out to extra time in one of the hottest cup finals I can ever remember. All back to Magstyle, who hasn't had much to do so far in this opening 39 minutes of this semi-final. Keith Curl looking it forward. Again a header there by Tony Adams, and then Gilles Grimond sensibly gets it back to David Seaman. It's been a game of football tennis. You have it, I'll have it. Well, we'll have it again. And that's how it's been really for the first half, although there has been some quite catching football being played, but no real end product so far. But we're optimists here at ITV Sport that we might have a better second half, or we might have a good end to the first. Well, you never know. Overmars chipping it in. Stout coming out to fist it away, and he did so magnificently well. Petit is in there. Vieira's in there too. Good challenge there, and it's deep ball on the break for Wolves, but his first touch really let him down badly. And Winterburn plays it to Overmars. Chip forward in there, but Progger gets it away. Last 3 minutes of what's been a very competitive first half. Ball just couldn't be found. The idea was good, the execution not so. Vieira now into Anelka, back to goal. Just these final passes just not coming off for Arsenal. Anelka with the shot, little deflection which took the sting off the shot, took the power off it, and an easy one there for Mike Stahl, who hasn't had that much to do in this first half, not as much as he would have anticipated at the start. We've played about 15 seconds of time added on, and that's it, says Stephen Lodge of Barnsley. And it's a first half that's split. We've seen some high catching football, but nothing really much to write home about apart from a chance each for Petit that headed wide, And Steve Bull before that forcing the best out of David Seaman. But apart from that, nothing much else to write about. Some high-catching football, as I say, but no end product. Half-time at Villa Park in this semi-final, 0-0. Welcome back to the Villa Park for the start of the second half of this first FA Cup semi-final. Trevor Moore with you in the commentary box, just to remind you that no changes from either side, and just to remind you that both sides have had a chance each. Petit for Arsenal and Bull for Wolves. And Villa now, Arsenal now attacking the north stand, and Wolves now going towards the north end in this second, not the north end, the Holt end in the second half. You know, you can tell I've been out of the game for commentary business for a little while. It's nice to be back after illness. Boggart, Richards, he's not let his side down at centre back. Remember, he's one of three centre backs. He's the junior of the other two. Venus and Anelka, good save. Keith Curl, I was going to say, he turned Curl there brilliantly, did Anelka. Just too slippery for the former Manchester City defender, and in the end it was a comfortable enough save for Stowell, but the turn from Anelka was very sharp and really dangerous, and that's something that Kerr will have to be very careful of and very wary of, I would have thought. Anyway, here's Keown for Arsenal. Just to remind you, the other semi-final this afternoon kicks off at 4 o'clock at Old Trafford. Sheffield United and Newcastle, the other semi-finalists. Ramandi. Ray. Petit. Final in May, live on ITV incidentally. First time in 10 years we'll have the FA Cup showpiece final live for you. Here's Ray Parler. And with Petit. Here's Anelka, good effort and well held by Mike Style at the second attempt. Just patted the ball down and did really well. So Style now starting to work a little bit better, more than he would have expected. And here's ball now down the other end. It's Steve Bull with a big chance for Wolves and a great save by David Seaman. Well, this is where Wolves were going to get their joy. Long ball forward. And it was Keown who inadvertently knocked it into the path for Steve Bull. And with a man with some 350 odd goals behind him in a professional career of some 10 years, you would have expected him to have buried that, but David Seaman made the save, and Arsene Wenger has reacted by bringing on Dennis Bergkamp for Chris Ray. But it's Wolves on the attack now with Simpson picking up the pieces from the corner, looking to get his shot off. I thought he might have gone with the right foot. No foul there. I must admit that looked a foul there on Tony Daly. Now it's on Bergkamp getting his first touch as Arsenal lay a counter attack down the other end. Bergkamp, a lovely weighted ball now to the path of Overmars. Richards is with him and it looks to coming together, but the referee's going to blow for an Arsenal free kick, and I think that's rather harsh against Dean Richards. And Robbie Slater making the case for the young defender. No yellow card for Richards incidentally, but it did look at coming together, and I think the referee should have let that one go. As it is, it's an Arsenal free kick. Richards, I think we can all have sympathy with Dean Richards there, but it's a free kick. Overmars is behind it, Anelka's in there, Bergkamp is in there. Left it in there towards Anelka and over the top. But we're seeing more chances created now from both sides. Was a bit nervy the first half, but the second half has been a far more open cup tie, and that's what we want to see, despite the fact that it's still goalless here. With something of around 55 minutes, 56 minutes gone. 35 minutes away. If there's no scoring in the next 35 minutes, we could have extra time. Here's Steve Bull again. He's had two big opportunities for Wolves. The latest one, really, he should have beaten David Seaman with. But the big Arsenal goalkeeper, the big man from Rotherham in South Yorkshire, spread himself like an eagle and made a good save. Here's Mark Overmars. On to Pat Vieira. Now then, Vieira's cross. Bergkamp is in there. And a chance for Petit. And it's going to fall nicely for Stowell. And kindly for him as well. But Arsenal now turning up the power on this, on the underdogs Wolves. And we really do have a semi-final with a vengeance. Keep calm for Wolves. Long ball forward. Adams with the header. Now de Leguivière. Into Bergkamp. Might have made a difference. Anelka with a shot and a good save by Mike Stow. He's working really well, Mike Stow, in that Wolves goal. Terrific piece of goalkeeping by him. As I say, keeping Ansig out of the side. And I'll tell you what, if Wolves go on and win it, Stow saves could be the catalyst. Now throwing it down the other end. His cross was too close to the goalkeeper. Steve Ball was lurking there. That a man that's won England call-ups when Wolves were in the second and third divisions. Played in the 1990 World Cup as well under Bobby Robson. So he's got a finger to him about big game football. But a former West Brom player as well. Came up the ranks at the Hawthorns and was unexpectedly let go by West Bromwich Albion. He's gone to Wolves and he's proved a lot of people at West Bromwich Albion wrong, and he scored a few goals against them as well in backcountry derbies and the like. He's a player to be feared in these parts, that's for sure. It's a Arsenal throw as Wolves try to launch another attack. Well, Roberts coming on for Froggatt, and Obermars off, and David Platt, who's a former Aston Villa man, now on. And he's up against Tony Daly, one of his old teammates as well at Aston Villa back in the early 90s under Graham Taylor and Joseph Engos, of course. Ball knocked in towards Courage. They actually both, between Platt and Daly, almost won the title together 8 years ago. And they pushed Liverpool so mighty close. Anyway, here's Manu Petit. Up to Bergkamp, up to Anelka. That's a good ball, and now it's released to Rumford Pele, they call him. Ray Parlour. Played back in there, Bergkamp, great save from Stow, and a terrific tackle by Curl, or is it? I think the referee lodge has given a penalty. And I must admit, my first reaction to that challenge by Curl, it looked a fantastic challenge by the Wolves captain, who was harshly, first of all, he's had a harsh penalty given against him, and now he's got a very harsh yellow card. Now you tell me, folks, where was the lateness in that tackle? He's clearly got the ball, but Mr. Lodge says penalty. And it's Dennis Bergkamp against Mike Stow. And he's hitting straight at Stow! With 67 minutes gone, Simon Osborne has replaced Simpson, by the way, we know and all of that. Well, maybe, justice was done there, because in the first instance, it was never a penalty. But how dreadful was that from Dennis Bergkamp? Mike Stow with the easiest save he'll ever have in his career. Penalty stopping rise. And now Arsenal got to go again with Bergkamp. Bergkamp again, little deflection, and Elka's there. Petit, oh, what a wonderful ball! And onside! A goal! Arsenal take the lead with 69 minutes gone, and it's the 20-year-old Nicolas Anelka. And it's tough on Wolves, who have given it a roll, but Arsenal have looked a lot more threatening since the start of the second half. And on balance of play, probably deserved the lead. A little bit of luck there. Fell for Anelka, lovely chip ball from Petit. And what a fantastic finish. And Mike Stow, who's been absolutely a hero for Wolves in this second half. And there was no way he was going to save this one. What about that? Just with the side of the right foot. A terrific goal. And it's Arsenal's double dream still on. 20 to play. Wolves have got to find a goal now in the next 20 minutes. Otherwise, it's just the playoffs for them. Here's Steve Bowl. Nearly got through. And I wonder how costly that miss from Steve Bowl earlier on in the second half has proved to be. Here's Simon Osborne, who's played against Arsenal in the semi-final but had lost. That was in the Coca-Cola in 93. And I had him in on a save by Seaman. Freeman was in there, and well, I think Courage was in there too, but I think it might have been a backheader by an Arsenal defender, but David Seaman had to scramble down like a top had to leap up like a salmon to save like Anelka at the other end. Now that would have been the killer goal for Nicolas Anelka. But Wolves have got to push forward now, the remaining 17 minutes that remain. There's the cross from Bergkamp, who will feel a lot better about things now that Anelka's got him out of trouble, so to speak. Well, Anelka should be burying that. Lee Dixon now, Bajil, Gramandi. So it's basically the Arsenal back four now. The old Arsenal back four, plus David Seaman, of course. But basically Wolves have got to try and break down now from the remaining, 17 minutes plus time added on. Daly. Slater. Bremen. Slater again, but he's beaten to it by Vieira. Now Bergkamp. Platt. Winterberg. Quarter of an hour just over to go. Wolves trailing by a goal to nil. Arsenal with a goal after 70 minutes from Nicolas Anelka. The 20-year-old has just burst onto the scene this season. And what a moment for him. As the corner comes in, or cross comes in, it's hit the defender and it's a corner. Came off the defender there, Venus, and it will be a corner kick now to Arsenal. Bergkamp to take it short to Winterberg. What can Winterburn do here? The cross, not a good one, I'm afraid. And Osborne gets it out. Arsenal reload again with Gio. 13 to play then at Villa Park. What a terrific atmosphere it's been. Wolves are going in their best shot. And it looks like Arsenal are going to just progress through, and here it's Palmer. Look at that, acres of empty space now as Wolves go in search of the equaliser themselves. There's the cross coming in, and Bergkamp almost got on the end of it. And here's Roberts. And a foul there against Simon Osborne, in fact. Or Ewan Roberts, in fact. Now, I'm not so sure what Roberts did wrong here. Well, he's pushed Vieira, and Vieira's made a bit of a meal of it, if I'm being honest. Stephen Lodge just falling for one or two bad decisions here. The penalty awarded, now this. And that's probably followed his copybook as referee this afternoon as Petit plays it in. But again, Max Stow. A sure keeping by the Wolves man. He's really not let his team down. Had little or no chance with Anelka's goal. But whatever he's had to do, he's done it terrifically well. Now Seaman with a little bit of work to do. Just kicks the ball forward. And another Wolves player went tumbling, but it's balled nicely for Parra. And Arsenal looking to settle the issue now and go through to the final. And there's a chance for Bergkamp, and he should have made it too. And he should have made it safe for Arsenal. Wolves still stay alive for now in the FA Cup. Parra with a terrific run and a wonderful, intelligent cross back. And if Bergkamp had looked up, I think he could have played it towards Anelka. But as it is, it remains 1-0 to Arsenal with 81 minutes gone here at Villa Park in this first FA Cup semi-final. The winners play Sheffield United or Newcastle, who play later this afternoon. And here's Freeman. He's got in there. Oh, and he got a deflection off a defender, and it felt kindly for Tony Adams. Here's Simon Osborne, who goes down. It's a free kick to Wolves. Now, will there be a booking for Vieira? Yes, they will. Vieira now booked by referee Lodge. As we go into the final stages of this semi-final, and it's been a dramatic second half for so many different reasons. Richards is going to take it towards Daly, headed away, but only as far as Slater. And Slater, I think Petit got him, but the referee says it's a clean challenge, and then there's another foul there, and it's going to be a free kick, and I think Dougie Freeman has been penalised this time for what he did there to Petit. Yeah, professional foul that. But no yellow card as Freeman comes off, in fact, to be replaced by former Blackburn man Mark Atkinson. It looks as if Mark McGee's going to go up with two now, Claridge and Bull. And Dungunman, I don't think he's going to get a chance. Here's Claridge. Simon Osborne. Ewan Roberts. Osborne, Roberts again. 5 minutes to a Wolves to save their FA Cup skins this season. Maybe take it to extra time and possibly a replay. Osborne. Roberts, a decent looking cross, but too close to David Seaman, who can now just take the sting out of it now for Arsenal. but his kick is not the best, I must admit, and it's given Wolves another opportunity now with 3¼ minutes to go. And then we'll be at the discretion of Mr. Roger Barnsley to see how long he will add on in terms of stoppage time at the end. The time added on for stoppages. Ball knocked forward again. Header one, and Adams was decisive in that particular instance. So many of these downward headers can cause a lot of teams problems, defences problems, but not Tony Adams and Martin Keown. They mop them up with pure delight every time. Dixon now. What about using David Seaman? And has used Patrick Vieira instead. Here is Vieira rather. Last minute of the game. Arsenal just got to hold on to possession. And the semi-final's theirs. And that's a lovely ball by Brie Parra, being one of the players, men in the match for me, in terms of real consistency. But now it's a time added on for injuries. It's all or nothing for Wolves. They may as well throw. Oh my goodness me! That almost reached Anelka, that ball. It was a real dangerous ball for Wolves to play. But this surely must be the last attack for Wolves. And it's into touch for Arsenal throw. We played a minute of injury time. Arsenal nearly there to play neither Newcastle or Sheffield United next month. They could be on for the double. Of course, they're still very much in the Premiership title race with Manchester United. But this will give their season a shot in the arm. But Mark Atkins might have something to say for Wolves. To Tony Daly up against Nigel Winterburn, I should say. It's got to be the last swing for Wolves now. They've got to create a chance. Slater, the Australian, knocks it in. Daly's got in there. Daly down for Wolves. Good save by David Seaman. And that might just do it for Arsenal. His kick wasn't a good one, but it's going to fall for Dixon. Stephen Lodge checks his watch and blows for the end. And Wolves are shattered. But it's Arsenal who go through to Wembley to play neither Newcastle or Sheffield United in next month, and poor old Wolverhampton Wanderers gave it their all, and probably when they look back at it, Steve Bowles with a great opportunity 10 minutes into the second half where he forced David Seaman into a save, but it was a goal 20 minutes from the end from Nicholas Anelka that's decided it all. Wolves bow out heroically, and it's Arsenal who go on to Wembley to play Sheffield United or Newcastle United. The final score here at Villa Park in a terrific FA Cup semi-final, definitely a terrific second half at any rate. Wolves 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, Trevor, it's unfortunate really for Wolves, who had a really good go of it, but ultimately Arsenal's quality paid through. Well, I think a lot of credit we've got to give, I would say, very much to the way in which Wolves set themselves up. I think they did a really good job. They took the game, but I felt as the second half wore on that the Premiership side just started to show their quality and a little bit too much for them. But I think a couple of factors that stand it is, I think ultimately it comes down to a moment of brilliance. It's a quality pass by Petit. It's a great finish by Anelka. And if you're going to lose, you hope it's to a moment of quality as opposed to a moment of controversy. Well, Arsenal are through to the FA Cup final, so a big moment for them. Who will be their opponents? We'll have to wait and see here for those results. But from all of us here on The Big Match, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
What's all that about? You should have hit the target, mate. Bicycle kick 20 grand a week.
Littlewoods, supporters of the FA Cup.
Thank you for watching here this match on Trevor Sports. If you've liked it, please don't be afraid to like, share and subscribe to the channel. And if you do fancy it, head on over to the Ko-fi. The link is in the description. Buy me a coffee for all the hard work. Other than that, make sure you enjoy more games coming up.